Hi Fabric Addicts, I'm Andrea with My Fabric Addiction, and today we are going to be working with our Snowman Brick Player. It is our #1 easy beginner quilt. Let's get started. Our kits all come pre-cut, so in your kit you will get your pattern and all your pieces that are pre-cut, precision cut on a machine. So everything is perfectly sized. This is your binding, these are your print pieces and your background squares. So it makes it really easy for you just to grab it out and go and just start taking it to the machine and start sewing. Okay, so we have them laid out. I've got them all separated into colors. Now we open up our pattern and we have different sizes. We have a crib, a throw, a twin, a full, a queen, and a king. And it's really good. It will tell you how everything is cut, but it's all cut here for you if you bought it with the kit. Now, we are going to take all of our prints and all of our squares, and we are going to make pairs. We're gonna do that with all of them. So all of them with a square to our rectangle print. And then depending on the size, it'll tell you how many pairs per row. So we are going to be doing the throw size. So we need to have 7 pairs per row. So let's sew let's sew the pairs together, and then we will sew our rows together. I'm going to start pulling them. We need 7 of your colored and 7 of your squares in each row. So I will just start sewing them together. I'm just going to take and put a white square with a background square. You're going to do it with all of them. Once you have taken all of your white squares and put them to a colored square, that's when we can start laying them out. So we just need 7 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is our amount per each row. I'm gonna do 2 rows today. All right, let's iron the 14 that I have ready. Okay, so when we are pressing the pieces, we want to make sure that we are not stretching our fabrics. We want to just set our seam. All this does is heat up the fabrics, and it just sets in and makes it easier for you to roll that back. And we're going to do that with all of them. We don't want to be too hard. If we iron and really push on these, it will stretch your fabric and they will not turn out to the size that you need them to be. They will be bigger, and then your pieces won't fit together when you sew your rows together. Those out of the way. I have some fabric that's not, like my pieces aren't fitting, most of the time it's either my seam allowance or my pressing. I have stretched it, and so they're not gonna fit properly. You wanna make sure you're using a 1/4 inch seam, and not all feet are created equal. I've had a foot that comes with my machine and it is a little bit bigger than a 1/4 inch, and so my pieces did not match up. So I had to find one that did work. Okay, so this is our unit. We will take all of our prints and put a square, and then we are going to sew those ones together. So we'll have a print first, and then we will have a square, and then we'll take another print and we'll put that on top of it. And we want to randomly select them. Okay. And we will sew those together. So we're just gonna randomly pull and put a print with a square. We're going to do that with all of your pieces. You want to try and avoid having the same print. Make sure you're doing right sides together. Let's lay these out. Okay, so I'm gonna start laying out my rows. We need to have, you can put them however you'd like. You can follow with how we have it on our sample, or you can do it different. We just have to make sure that one row, our first row goes a print, and the next row is gonna go a square. And we just wanna try and put them together. This. I've started sewing some of these together. Just like that. And then our end pieces will go right at the end. Pull these down just a little bit. Stick this right here. Okay, now we will take and sew these rows together. So we're just gonna we'll start on this side. We're just gonna take this one, we'll sew them together. We're just gonna cut this. We're gonna take our next piece. It's in that row, and sew it together. Last piece. And we have one row all the way sewn. Okay, we'll do our next row. So we just want to make sure that that end piece is a square and not a rectangle. to make sure that it's right sides together, and we're taking, make sure that's a rectangle with a square. And our last piece. Now we will press them. Okay, so we have our 2 rows put together. Our pattern will tell us how many rows we need to make. So when I'm pressing these, I usually will press this row going to the left, and then this going to the right. So we would just take it. I just slowly get them going, one direction. And then this row, I'll be going the other direction. Nesting would mean our seams would go together like this. So this one is pressed that way and this one is pressed that way. So they would be together and they would lock in together. That is nesting your seams. These ones do match up on this one, so it does help to have them nesting. I would take my pins and I would lock my seams together. Those do not have anything to match up to, so I don't worry about them. I will throw a pin in there just to hold them together so they're not flopping. So these next ones, this one doesn't need anything to line up to, but this next one does. Okay, once you have everything all pinned, we're going to take it to the machine and we are going to sew a 1/4 inch down the whole side. So one thing you gotta watch out for is this can slip. So if you're not paying attention, this bottom piece can move. So when you're sewing, you're gonna have, if you have a 1/4 inch, you might only be sewing just the very edge of this bottom fabric. You will get holes in your quilt really quickly if that happens. As soon as you wash it, those threads are gonna fray and it's not gonna hold. So you wanna make sure that both the top and bottom fabrics stay aligned through the whole process of sewing down your row. I pay attention to which way my seams are pressed. This is pressed going forward, so I'm gonna tuck it underneath the foot as I come up to it so it doesn't flip and go all crazy on me. So I'm coming up to my pins. I'm gonna take it out just before I hit it, and I'm gonna pay attention to that seam, and there's also a seam underneath, but that one should just go underneath and shouldn't flip because it's going the way of the machine. Okay. Coming back up onto a seam, just make sure it is going the right direction underneath your foot. coming towards the end piece, I just want to make sure that my pieces match up at the end. I will sometimes put a little pin at the end just to keep it where I want it. Okay. Sometimes you can back stitch on the front and on the back when you're sewing your rows together. It just helps to keep seams from popping open. Okay, well, let's go press our rows.
All right, 2 minutes.
Okay. We're gonna set our seam, the whole thing, and then we are gonna roll it back. Be careful not to stretch. I will sometimes take this and I'll kind of move it with my hand first and then set the iron down on top so that I am pressing and not ironing. We do not want it to stretch. If we stretch it, it will not lay nice and flat and meet up. Your pieces might not end up the right size. Okay, so those are how we do our rows for our beginner snowman quilt. I hope you enjoy making this quilt as much as I have.